I'm Kaylee, and this is my July reading wrap-up. I did not read a ton of books in July, but the books that I did read were kind of longer books, so it sort of evens out. I read 12 books in July. I read 2 classics, 2 YA, 2 nonfiction, 1 graphic novel, 2 middle grade, 1 sci-fi, 1 children's picture book, and 1 mystery. So 3 of the books that I read were for the Jane Austen July Reading Challenge. I read Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, Jane and the Genius of the Place by Stephanie Barron, and Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. I've already talked about those books in my Jane Austen July wrap-up, which I will link up here and down below so you can check out my thoughts about each of those books. And I also participated in the Reading Rush Readathon, where I read 4 books. The False Princess by Eilish O'Neill, Down the Rabbit Hole by Peter Abrahams, The Telling by Ursula Le Guin, and Lady Catherine and the Real Downton Abbey. I've already talked about all of those in my Reading Rush wrap-up, and so I will link that video up above and down below so you can see my thoughts on each of those books. One of the YA books that I read was Wings of Flame by Nancy Springer. I wasn't quite sure to expect when I went into this book because I've read other books by this author that I really loved, but this one was just kind of, I don't know. This is about 2 warring nations who worship the same horse deity, but their priests differ on how to worship. The warrior Prince Chiram is sent as a hostage for peace and has to live with his enemy. And an outcast girl, Sita, has to masquerade as a boy. She befriends the prince when she saves his life from brigands on the road. There were some things about this book that I really loved, and some things that were just confusing, and some things that were just weird. I loved the characters. Their relationships are really complex and always changing. They all have secrets and inner turmoil that they have to resolve. The world building, though, was sometimes confusing. There are all these myths about ancient gods and horse deities, and there's a lot of magic concerning curses and like healing powers. A lot of it was just not explained very well, or it didn't fit in with the rest of the world. Overall, it's an enjoyable read with some great characters, excellent writing, and an interesting plot. It's definitely imaginative and quite different from other books that I've read. It's not my favorite book or anything, but I'm glad that I read it, and I gave it 3 stars. And the next book is Lark Light by Philip Reeves. Arthur and his sister Myrtle live on a space home in the outer orbit of the moon. And they find it very boring. Nothing ever happens in such a remote area of space. And they long to travel to Earth or see the colonies on Mars or visit the exciting moons of Jupiter. One day their home is visited by the mysterious stranger, Mr. Webster. And they are thrown into an adventure that takes them across the solar system with pirates and ancient civilizations and alien spies. I loved everything about this book. The twisting plot, the complex characters, the hilarious writing, the imaginative world building, and the mystery and the adventure. Every single dramatic chapter kept me reading for hours on end. Myrtle especially has some excellent character development. She learns that she is stronger and more resourceful than she thought. She does not faint every time that something dangerous happens, as a properly educated Victorian young lady should do. Instead, she begins to take little steps towards saving herself, instead of waiting for her hero to come rescue her, as any demure young maiden should do. And through those little steps, she moves on to bigger steps, until finally she gains enough confidence in her own abilities to find the courage to jump into the fray and save everyone. I did not realize when I started this that it is actually the first book in a series, but now I cannot wait to read more from this series, and I gave it 5 stars. The next books are all books that I received from a publisher in exchange for a free and honest review. I read the graphic novel The Daughters of Eyes? Not sure. What is that? I don't know. When their mother dies, 2 princesses handle their grief very differently. One sister finds solace in the beauties of nature, and the other one learns everything that she can about her mother's magic. The city where they live is built on dark magic, and as the sisters grow up, the evil in their kingdom can no longer be contained. I did not enjoy this graphic novel. There are very graphic, violent scenes with lots of blood and gore, and there are sexual scenes that were a little too graphic as well, and so I just did not enjoy it. It really ruined it for me. I wish that the story could have been told in a more classy way. I liked the magic and the legends of this ancient city that's born from the sea. The artwork is really beautiful. I loved the storytelling style. The magic is interesting, the characters are compelling and complex. Every element for a marvelous story is there, and then it was just ruined by all this violence and sex. I just gave it 1 star. I just couldn't stomach it. I read a children's picture book, Over in the Woodland, A Mythological Counting Journey. This picture book counts up mythical creatures in a magical fairyland as they dance and fly with their parents. Each family of fairies and griffins and centaurs and trolls grow in size as we count from 1 to 10. The rhyming text is meant to be sung to the tune Over in the Meadow. The illustrations are marvelous. The art is rich and warm and vibrant. There are these tiny little details in the illustrations that make each scene come alive with magic. Little dewdrops on a leaf, the sparkle of a waterfall, or the strands of hair or fur on the mythical creatures. I mean, each little whisker is just alive with energy and movement. So I sang this book. I didn't read it, I sang the book to my nieces and they loved it. I'm just so in love with this book. This is one of those books that you keep forever and you share with your grandchildren. And of course I gave it 5 stars. And the last book that I read, I don't know if you say you read, do you read an activity book? The last book that I reviewed is Paint by Sticker Dinosaurs. This activity book has 10 beautiful designs and hundreds of stickers and little mosaic shapes. It's so easy to put the stickers in place, and the finished product looks wonderful. It's very relaxing, and it helped me to sort of get my creative juices flowing. You feel a real sense of accomplishment when you finish, too. I love the clever designs and the beautiful colors. This is perfect for any time that you have some anxiety and you just want a nice, calm activity. I gave this 5 stars. And those are the 12 books that I read in July. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what was your favorite book that you read this past month. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.